want a moment.
These guys came from Woodland, Delaware.
Where was you from?
Now,
I'm from
who's
the East
fighting
Side.
right now? Who's fighting right now? Who's fighting right now? Who's Let me see him. Let me see him. Let me see him. Let me see him.
Listen, man, it's your boy D-Mac, man. Fire Nights Podcast.
Let me see him. Let me see him.
Welcome. It is Sunday Championship Sunday, as I will say. Let's let the music permeate your bones and fill your body and motivate you first. Don't it feel good? Don't it feel good, man? Don't that feel good? Let's get down to business, bro.
Alrighty.
You're now rocking with the best, man. This is the Fire Night
For some
pregame show.
reason, music like nah, this will
It's Championship Sunday today, baby. Championship Sunday. Big day for us, man. Big day for all football fans, man. It's a big sports day. This is Championship Sunday. The day determines who goes and plays for the ring today. I'm excited. I'm extremely excited today, man. This is what it's all about, man. This is the culmination of the last, I would say, I don't even want to just narrow it down just to the playoffs. This is the culmination of why everybody showed up in training camp. Matter of fact, even before that draft, this is the culmination of everything for these four teams. It's all come together for today to get the chance to go play for it all. What's your thoughts on this, bro?
my bad. Hey, here I am. Here, my bad. I was grooving to the tunes, boom, 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 and you know, my bad, my bad. But like I was saying, man, with all four of these teams that's left, I would honestly say that all of them can say that they've had a successful season thus far. They could sit down, they could look back at their grandkids and say, you know what, our 2022-2023 season, we didn't win a championship, but we are a success. We got to the AFC or the NFC championship. We got there. We fought hard. We played hard. We had a great season. We may have fell short. With that being said, as my man Cisco in the iconic, legendary Storming Classics would say, when it gets this time of the year is, somebody got to win, somebody got to lose.
Oh, yeah.
And this is for all the marbles. This is the most exciting weekend you get. Is do or die, almost literally. You know, so this will be action-packed, and it will go down to the last plays, and I believe in both the games.
Absolutely, man. This is the action-packed day. A lot of drama. Um, Lots of stories. Lots of storylines today. I'm pretty excited about it from the standpoint. I don't really know what I'm gonna do today, man. As far as where I'm gonna watch it, I don't even got my snack lineup set. I just know it's football, and I'll just let it take its course, man. I think I'll let the day guide me today. But yeah, it's one of those days, man, because I think both of these games have the potential to be classics. Um, Now, as far as our picks going back to 5 6 months ago, I know I still got one team in it. My pick was the Chiefs. I still got one team in it. I forget who I picked in the NFC. I totally forgot who I picked in the NFC, and I apologize to anybody watching. I'll go back and I'll take a look at that to see where that pick fell. But I still got one dog in the fight, and we'll see what happens today. We'll see what happens. Where are you?
Actually, I'm going over to my mama's house. She's a huge Eagles fan. So I said, all right, I go down there. We're going to have, a little spread. Not nothing major, but, some wing dings, little pizza,
Okay.
some adult beverages, and the party favors will be flowing.
Yo, I just saw this thing today, man. A little off course, but it's relevant. I just saw this thing, man. You know how ladies drink mimosas or whatever, right? During brunch. I saw this thing called the Bromosa, and I was intrigued.
What's this?
This is because all right. So the ladies, their mimosa is orange juice and some sort of wine, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Bromosa is orange juice, but your choice of beer and liquor. The Bromosa. I gotta try this.
Well, you know me, man. I'm not one to be, shying away from those type of challenges in my life. It's just, man, you said orange juice and beer? That was. Do I have to have beer?
Well, let's be honest. You can pretty much do whatever hell you want to do and call it a Bromosa, but
True.
This particular concoction was a take on the actual mimosa. So this particular one I was intrigued by. It was your choice of beer, orange juice, and for me it would be tequila. So I'm gonna try it. I'm definitely gonna try. I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued by the Bromosa. I'm about to go on vacation again, so I'm intrigued by the Bromosa. I will be having a Bromosa on a few of those days that I'm away across the water. So I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna try the Bromosa and let you know how it is. I might even try it before then. I may even try the Bromosa before then.
I might need that documented on, with some just to see, your take on a Bromosa. I'm still trying to wrap my head around orange juice and beer.
Everything's weird. Everything's weird till you try it. That's how I look at it. Everything's weird until you try it. So yes, I'm going to say that it does sound weird because I'm not a beer guy, but I'm intrigued by the combination of being able to put our own stamp on a brunch staple. So I want to try it. I want to try it. My lady does brunch a lot, and we'll be together. So I'm gonna try my stamp on that. Why not? I'll let you know how to do it. I'm gonna put it on wax. But I'm intrigued to start. I'm intrigued to try it even before vacation. So I might end up putting it on wax before vacation. So I just thought that was interesting because
I might need
beer and tequila.
Beer and tequila. That's what I'm saying. The beer, the orange juice and the tequila, cool. The orange juice by itself, cool. The tequila by itself, cool. Even if the beer and the tequila, cool. Orange juice and beer?
All three. Yeah.
The orange juice and the beer is the I'm like, I can't get around that one. The orange juice and the beer. But I'm not gonna say I'm gonna shut it down. I'm open to it myself.
I am going to be the guinea pig on that one, and I'm going to rock out for you. So, and I'll let you know how it is. Well, bitch, because I'll let you know how it is don't necessarily mean
Right.
it's going to be good for you. But I'm going to be the guinea pig. I hope it's good because I would like to add that as a staple because here's the thing. Sometimes you're missing a drink early in the day that's not necessary. Now, me personally, I'm a straight tequila or a straight whiskey person. You know what I mean? Straight whiskey or tequila. I got rid of the cognac. I try to limit my cognac intake. I'm trying to streamline it down to one thing, whether that be tequila or whiskey. It's looking like it's going to be tequila. But so for me, 12 o'clock in the afternoon or 1 o'clock in the afternoon, I don't necessarily know if I should be drinking straight tequila. It's been done. I've thrown caution to the wind a lot. It's been done. I don't really care. But this seems a bit more appropriate. This seems a bit more... You know what I mean? This seems a bit more, okay, I'm going to try it.
Right.
I feel you. I'm going to try it. So I'll let y'all know how that goes. So listen, man, let's get down to business. Let's get down to some business here. Let's get some, we got two very, 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 very high profile action-packed, superstar level, star-studded, all pro level games. Both these teams are flooded with all pro players. First, in the AFC, we got a beauty of a clash between the Chiefs of Kansas City and the Bengals out of Cincinnati, led by two very dynamic quarterbacks. The brash, young Joe, I like to call him Broadway Joe Burrow, and the Chiefs led by their procurial all-star, do-it-all magician of a quarterback, Patrick Mahomes. You got the wily Andy Reid on the Chiefs sidelines versus the young upstart Zach Taylor, who's making a name for himself. It's a lot of storylines in this thing. I mean, it's a lot of storylines in this thing. You've got the recent dominance by the Bengals over the Chiefs. You've got Patrick Mahomes fighting for his place in history, going for his third appearance in the Super Bowl, trying to win his second to put him in a specific spot amongst the greats. You got Joe Burrow trying to cement and start to etch his legacy, you know, in terms of, hey, man, this ain't just no one-man show with this guy. I'm here. What's your thoughts on this whole thing? Talk to me.
First of all, man, I want to give a shout out to Who They Nation, man. They was loud and proud. You know, they've been a very loyal to their fan base. Like, look, we told you this could happen, and that's one of the fan bases that could actually say that, yeah, none of y'all liked us, none of y'all thought these things could happen. So that's one of the fan bases that can actually throw a lot of all the receipts and the stones that was thrown at them. They piled them right back up and thrown them right back at a lot of the people, and rightfully so. A nickname that I like for my guy is Joe Shiesty. You know what I'm saying? Joe Shiesty. I mean, he's not the best. I won't say that at all. I actually think Patrick Mahomes is the best. But what I will say is
Let me stop you there. So let's be careful. When you say best, quantify what best means to you, because your best may mean something different than someone else's best. You know what I mean? So when you say the best, clarify for anybody watching so they don't misconstrue your words what you mean by the best.
Well, I think Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback playing and may possibly end up being the best quarterback that has ever played. And what I mean by the best, I actually think that he is the most talented quarterback right now. Maybe not. Yeah, he's one of, if not the most talented quarterbacks that I've seen. He's made all the requisite plays and some that I've seen from an all-time quarterback of his talent. I have seen already enough accolades to see that, oh, yeah, he's legitimate. So with all those things,
Steph Curry with the football.
Yeah, with all those things piled up right here, right now, with him being the driving catalyst, the engine, the force multiplier, as I like to say, on his team, no debating that. I think that he is the most valuable. I think that he is the most talented. I think that he is the most impactful player. So not just the best. I think he is all of those players, and I think it doesn't hurt when you have someone who's a quarterback whisperer, Andy Reid. So all of those things make him the best player in football to me, but also the best quarterback.
Do you feel like he could do this elsewhere as well at this level, or is it just a culmination of all those things together make him who he is now? Can he do this anywhere else?
I think so. Now, I put it like this. I don't think that he could go to the Houston Texans and do this. Nah, I don't think he can do that. But I think if, all things considered, if he was to just drop into Philadelphia, yes, I think he could do this. If he could drop into, let's say, a Jets, yes, he could do this. Miami, yes, he could do this. If they had, and I ain't saying they have to have that kind of talent. I'm just saying Houston is so bereft of talent, and the leadership is so bad, and the coaching isn't all that great. He would not be able to overcome all of those things. Now, let's say in someone who's the Raiders, I think he could go in there and do the same thing. I would say I would go on a limb and say he could go in and do the same things he's doing now in pretty much 20 some odd teams in the league. He could do what he's doing now. That's what I believe. And if he couldn't do it, it would be necessarily the organization's fault that he couldn't reach his heights.
Strong statement. He's a joy to watch, man. It's like, I hate to use this term because this term is a lot of times associated to a certain skin color and how they play. But this is, that quote unquote schoolyard. I like to say a different word. I think this is creative football at its best, improvisational football at its best, off script. When things break down, he's learned to be the master of this sort of thing, and it's a joy to watch. Now, don't get me wrong, he will, outside of things breaking down, he will dice you up from the pocket if things don't break down. So it's not necessarily, that's the only thing he can do. It's just that he's so incredibly far beyond anyone else at doing that when it happens, that's what you tend to remember. You don't tend to remember the games where he's picked somebody apart from within the pocket. They'll play the one left-handed throw, and that overshadows everything else. And hey, it's a highlight. It's a highlight society. I get it. But let's not overlook that thing, that he is a great pocket passer, a great reader of defenses, a great dissector of defenses, a great cerebral quarterback. So let's just not limit him to these wild off-script plays. That doesn't define, well, let me not say that. It actually does define it, but that's not who he is as a whole. It's the most spectacular part about his game, something that I would say 20 plus quarterbacks cannot do on that level. But on the other side of the field, there's a young man who, without all the highlight plays and quote unquote dynamic and highlight replay plays, he does it cerebrally with his arm. I'm not even sure he is the same level of athlete Patrick Mahomes is. I know he has some athleticism, but Joe Burrow gives off a lot of that classic pocket passer a la Joey Montana, because he's got that moxie and that cool and that nerve, and the leadership. He's got that leadership where you could be playing on the moon and he'll walk in with the show with the sunglasses on and the cigar and say, "Let's get it," and automatically you feel like, we're gonna win. We got this. We got this. And it takes a special guy to be able to exude that through that 50+ man locker room, man. And he's one of those guys that not many guys can that I feel can walk into Arrowhead facing down Patty Mahomes and make him blink. Joe Burrow is one of maybe a handful of guys, and I don't need my thumb to count.
Right.
Not very many guys can do that. That class is very short that can do that. Today, we have a guy that can do that. And he has done that and says he's going to do it again.
Oh yeah. Well, that's one of the great things I love about Joe Burrow is I don't understand. I posed a question I just went on a little rant like bulletin board material is overrated because actually Burrow, even if he didn't say the things that he said, he actually still thinks them. You know, if he didn't come out and say, well, you know, my Super Bowl career window is open my whole career.
That was hard.
If he didn't, right. Now they say, oh, that's bulletin board material. All right, say it. Guess what? He still thinks that, and his play definitely reflects that he thinks that he can win every damn Super Bowl that he plays in. So that's something I don't understand. So coming from Joe Burrow, that's one of the things that I love, that he's just not a person, and it's not really over the top. It's just matter of factly, we're pretty damn good. I'm pretty damn good. I believe in our guys. Right. Why shouldn't we feel like we are somebody? Look at what we've done. Look at what we're doing. And I don't think that's a bad thing to have. That is a great leadership quality. I also think that you hit it really square on the nail when you made a comparison to Joey Montana. When I look at Joe Burrow, does he do anything great, physically? I'm like, nah, not really. He does enough he does more than enough all the way around physically. I'm cool with that. But the mental part, I'm like, oh, okay, it's just not the moxie. What people don't understand is your confidence really comes from preparation. Your confidence comes from preparation. He feels that, and not just feels, it looks like he's prepared for all of these situations. Oh, in the snow? All right, cool. I'm going to be down a guy. All right, cool. I might have to run a little bit more. All right, cool. He might have to run a little bit more. All right, cool. He makes
the answer to every question is all right, cool.
All right, cool. And it looks, by the looks of it, it's been getting done. So it's nothing. He's not overwhelming you physically. He's just going out and making every play that he should make in every situation that it should be made in. And there are not very many quarterbacks, like you alluded to, that we can count on with our fingers that can do that. And Joe Saxey has shot up. He's probably, to me, the second best quarterback in football as we speak right now. So to have 1 and 2 guard against each other right now, and one may be a little hobbled, even with his superpowers, a little, chinked in the armor a little bit. I think Joey Burrow is a guy that's more than comparable and has all the moxie and makeup and all the talent to back up and to make this awesome and great game today. I can't wait, bro. I can't wait.
Give me some. Give me some of your key points and strengths of both teams from what you've seen, because the playoffs yield an entirely different mind frame, an entirely different an entirely different motivation, and it brings out the absolute best in the best. So what are you seeing key points first with the Chiefs? The keys to the Chiefs winning the game today?
Well, one, and I'm looking square at the head of the snake. I'm looking square at Patrick Mahomes. I want to see how effective you are, period. You know what I'm saying? Because there could be several different ways the game could be approached defensively for the Bengals. If he's looking like he can't move out the pocket, okay, cool. If he's looking like he could maybe escape a rush, but maybe not beat us on his feet, for a first down or anything, that's something different. If it's looking like old Patty Mahomes magic today, that's a little something different. So, but that's squarely placed upon the feet, or rather, better yet, the ankle of Patrick Mahomes. So that's what I'm looking at first. Secondly, I want to see if the offensive line and really the run game can really take a little bit of pressure off of Patrick Mahomes, so he doesn't have to see if his leg is good enough to check out if I got some pixie dust magic in me. If you guys can get some holes and Pacheco can get out there, and Jet McKinnon can get out in these lanes and get some rush yards, that'll probably take a little bit more off of Patty Mahomes. That's what I'm looking at squarely. Those two things, the offense, excuse me, the offensive line and the run game, and Patrick Mahomes' health. That's what I'm looking at squarely for the Chiefs right now on offense.
As far as the Chiefs on offense, a couple of things I want to see. Of course, the ankle. I want to see how the ankle's holding up. And as I'm looking at him in warm-ups right now, there's no gait. He doesn't look gingerly at all. I think that's going to even improve during game time because you get the adrenaline flowing unless there's a direct hit or anything of that nature or a wrong move. But for right now, there doesn't look to be a limp. There doesn't look to be a gait. And that's critical because, you want to have him at his best at the very best moment right now, and that's to be able to go play for the big game. I think the biggest thing will be the Chiefs' defense. The Chiefs' defense has got to establish itself to be able to, number one, contain the Bengals' running game so that you make the Bengals throw the ball even more than they want to. I think that the Chiefs have to muster some sort of pass rush. They've got to be able to get to Joe Burrow. So far, the much maligned offensive line of the Bengals has answered the bell. They've protected Joe Burrow, not only in the passing game, but they have been studs in the running game late in the season. They've turned from a question mark to, I don't want to necessarily say a strength, but a facet on the field that we no longer discuss as well. If they can, they've answered that question already. So for the Chiefs, can they affect the game defensively at all? Because right now, the Bengals are humming. The Bengals are humming right now. They're coming out like they have the mind state to jump on you early, get up on you 14-0, and see how you respond. They've been machine-like in their approach early in games recently. They've put some teams on their heels, and that's been their formula. Can the Chiefs defense withstand that early Bengals onslaught? Because the Bengals, whatever their first script of plays, has been masterful. So can the Bengals defense can the Chiefs defense stand up to that early Bengals onslaught? And that means those first 2 to 3 possessions. How do they handle the Bengals?
Well, that's one thing I've been looking at myself, man, for pretty much the totality of the season, and that's pretty much been the defensive backfield of the Kansas City Chiefs. They have not, to me, Patrick Mahomes has pretty much overcome a lot of the holes or deficiencies on the defense that I think, the Kansas City Chiefs have. They haven't been going up enough teams that could take advantage of those deficiencies in the defensive backfield. And I actually think they're going up against the worst matchup they can probably have right now. You're going up against Jamar Chase. You're going up against T. Higgins. You're going up against Tyler Boyd. You're going up against Hayden Hurst. You're going up against Samaje Perine. Mixing out of the backfield. If Frank Clark, Chris Jones, if those guys can't, like you say, can't muddy the game up, which I don't think they will be able to muddy the game up enough with enough pass rush.
It'll be a long Sunday.
I don't really think it's going to be a long Sunday because I think Patrick Mahomes is going to be a little bit of Patrick Mahomes. But okay. I actually think you're going to see the Bengals not being deterred as much as they need to be deterred in this game offensively. I think they're going to move the ball pretty easily.
Okay.
Period. You know, I just think they're going to move the ball pretty easily. Period. I never really believed that much in Kansas City's defense. I just believe that much in Patrick Mahomes.
Well, you have to because I mean they lead the NFL in total offense. They led the NFL in scoring in the regular season. So I mean it's an offense that's been primed to go without the quote unquote big deep threat. The one consistent, which I think has emerged as him being the best player on this team aside from Patrick Mahomes, is Kelsey. Kelsey has turned into not only probably the best tight end in the NFL, but I think he is now making his case for all-time numbers. So that's what they have to deal with in this instance. I think the Chiefs' offense will be humming as normal. I think the Bengals' offense will be humming as normal. I don't necessarily know if that results in lots of points, but I think they will go up and down the field. I think they'll go up and down the field. Both defenses will tighten up when it matters the most, which will lead to some field goals. And I think this comes down. Now, mind you, my pick was the Chiefs, so I'm right on schedule. But I just can't bet against Joe Shiesty, man. I just don't want to bet against Joe Shiesty. I don't want to bet against Joe. And I'm not. I'm going to go Joe Shiesty, man. I'm going Joe Shiesty. I'm going Joe Shiesty in a thriller. And it's not, I don't think it's going to be high scoring. I think we're going 27-23, 27-24 along those lines. Something along those lines with the Bengals pulling it out. I don't think you go over 30, but I don't think it's a low scoring game. I think it's right in the middle. Just enough offense, just enough ball moving up and down the field. I don't know if we get a lot of turnovers today because these teams are very masterful in protecting the ball, especially at this time. They know what's at stake. But I think there's going to be some field goals instead of touchdowns that, are going to play a part in this game. So I got the Bengals. I could be wrong. I'm not going to argue nobody down. It's going to tell me the Chiefs. But I just got the Bengals in a thriller. I'm going to say 27-24. 27-24 Bengals.
That's fair. That is fair. And when I look at it, I see a lot of the same similarities in where I'm, thinking about how this game is going, man. I think both teams will move the ball. I'm not going to say easily, but I don't think it's going to be, varsity, football. I think this is going to be professional football on both sides of the ball. The one big difference to me is I do not think the Kansas City Chiefs defensive backfield is going to be able to hold up. And some of those field goals, like you say, I think the Bengals going to kick. I think they're actually going to be touchdowns. Okay. So I mean, I'm not saying Patrick Mahomes is not going to be out there doing everything he can do to will and put the whole state of Missouri on his back. More specifically, the city of Kansas City. But I do not think that he or his receiving core will be able to muster up enough points as frequent as they need to, and actually Joey Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals go into what they are now affectionately calling Burrowhead Stadium and win 30-23. Bengals.
Let's shift gears. NFC Championship game. Can you feel that can you feel the collective, because we're so close, can you feel the collective gathering right up the road at the link? I mean, it feels like a groundswell at the link right now. Not only that, can you feel the collective movement from the West Coast into the link? It's a current moving towards us, up towards the link. It's big in this area because this particular area has such a big 49er contingent. And of course, the Eagle contingent is ridiculous in this area. I think this is the heavyweight slobber knocker, not pretty game, but beautiful in its own way sort of thing that the other game's not going to be. Aesthetically, this game's not going to be pretty. This is going to be a fight. There's going to be Eagles are going to take their shots. I don't know if they connect on those deep shots today. The Eagles on defense have to be sound in the tackling game because of the weapons that the 49ers are going to throw at them. Tackling has to be at a premium. Definitely for the Eagles, because the loaded skill power on the offensive side of the football for the Niners can be devastating when one of those guys gets their hands on the ball, and if you miss a tackle, gone. But with that being said, there's a benefit here. You've got the unproven upstart Brock Purdy going into the link, probably the most mentally hostile football stadium I've ever seen in my life. Can Mr. Irrelevant hold up to that and the league leading team in sacks in the NFL? Can they get after Brock Purdy? Can they get their hands on Brock Purdy and make him look like Mr. Irrelevant, like no one else has been able to do? That's the question I had. Can the Eagles defense get to Brock Purdy and create some extra possessions for the offense via turnovers, strip sacks, interception? Can they make him look pedestrian? Because so far he's not looked pedestrian. He's looked, I don't want to say stellar, but he's looked very good so far. I've been watching him, breaking down the film. I like what Brock Purdy is doing behind center. I don't think he's faced this sort of adversity from a pass rushing standpoint. I don't think he's faced this type of adversity from the sort of packages that they'll throw at him from a defensive standpoint and the blitz packages and things of that nature. Now, the 49er offense is well equipped to deal with that, in terms of the offense and how it's structured, in their screen game, in their trapping, and the running game. They're equipped to deal with it. That's going to be the chess match that I want to see. The defensive line and the linebackers versus the offensive line of the Niners and the running backs and how that fares. That's going to be interesting for me. As far as the quarterback on the Eagles, Jalen Hurts, he's been having an MVP caliber season. I think his injury late in the stretch may have cost him the MVP because it's more of an out of sight, out of mind thing, and that could drop you down a couple pegs, but that doesn't take away from his stellar play. And I still think to this very day, he is the only quarterback in the league that has not played a bad game. He has not had a 3-interception game. He has not had a 2-fumble, 3-fumble game. He has not had a game where you just said, oh, Jesus Christ, if he just plays better, they would. Any game that they've been close, it has not been on his shoulders. He has played stellar. And my only question in the back of my head is saying, is this the week he has an off game? Because he's also facing a stellar defense on the other side. Pro Bowlers on every level. Road scholars, because this team has won playoff games on the road in the past few years. How does that play out? Jalen Hurts, the world is yours right now. You're on the stage. You're in front of your fans with a chance to go play for the big shiny ring. Can you culminate a dream season and cement your legacy in Philadelphia Eagles lore as the next generational quarterback for the Philadelphia Eagles to carry them the next 10 to 15 years? Let's see what happens. Is he going to have an off game today? Because he has not thus far. Is that due to just maturity as a quarterback? Or is that just due to he just has not had a defense throw certain things at him, or a defense of this particular caliber? We shall see. With that being said, my prediction, give me the 49ers 20-17. 20-17.
I heard that. I heard that. You said a lot there, bro. You said a lot there, bro. You said a lot. Some things I agree with.
It's a lot.
Some things I'm like, that's not. I'm not. I didn't see that the same way. One of the things that I did not see the same way was when you said that Brock Purdy has looked stellar, and I said, well, maybe I can just go back.
I said good. I said he's looking
good.
good.
Okay, got you. Good.
I didn't want to say stellar because I'm going to say that I don't think he's been tested I don't think he's gone through any adversity. That's right. If you've gone through some adversity and you still look, then I could say stellar because you're undefeated. But I don't think he's had that much adversity.
Well, here's the thing I was going to allude to. I said, well, just last week he didn't look all that good. You know, he had no touchdowns. You know, it was about 50-some-odd%, pass completions. I was like,
but didn't he look bad?
Nah, and that's fine. But really, the one thing that I really looked at that really stood out to me is I said, ooh, they got to 19 points. They only got to 19 points. They had about 4 or 5 field goals, if I'm not mistaken. And one rushing touchdown from Christian McCaffrey. And I said, Dallas's defense is pretty damn good. They played stout, very damn stout last weekend.
Which defense would you say is better? The Dallas defense or the Eagles defense?
I would probably say the Eagles defense.
So now we got to step up, and we got another level up. So now let's see what happens. That's all I'm saying.
Well, what I'm saying is, with Dallas's Cowboys defense probably being the best defense that he played all year, I was like, oh, that was kind of how I thought Brock Purdy should look. You understand what I'm saying? Everybody just seems to overlook that he played last week and he didn't play all that great. And I'm not trying to down the man. I'm not saying he played bad, but he led an offense.
We got to make a distinction, though. Now, had he thrown 2 or 3 interceptions, you could say, oh, damn, he's the reason they lost. But even in him not looking great, he did not lose the game. He managed the game well.
That's fair. That's fair.
He gave them an opportunity to win the game. Oh, and mind you, let's take into account the fact that no, he didn't have any touchdowns. No, it wasn't a 250 to 300 yard passing game, but he didn't hurt his team, and that's the key. You cannot have a great game, but are you going to be a quarterback that when you're not having a great game, are you going to hurt your team too? Because you can have a great game and still manage the game well. If the defense is playing well, then let's lean on the defense. We got to throw some passes away. We can't be Superman. Superman now he throws a couple of those passes, they're pick sixes, and now it's Brock's fault. Now, and that's the thing. Let's differentiate between bad games and just not having a good game, meaning you faced a defense that limited the entire team, because the entire team offensively didn't play great, but they just didn't play losing football. And we always praise that.
I praise that, and I actually say, and that's more of what I'm leaning to. They didn't win the football game last week. Dallas did more to lose that football game than they did to win it. And that's what I'm saying. Okay, well, if the circumstances are different, playing against a more efficient offense, they lose that game. Against a better, more well-rounded team, they lose that game every time, because Brock Purdy, if he's playing up against a defense like that, it wasn't even just him that was neutralized. Like you said, it was the offense that was pretty much neutralized. And I was like, okay, well, and that's sort of kind of what I was alluding to. But he's the guy that's looking at, oh, can he manage the game in this? And I'm like, well, they kind of were shut down as a whole last week, and nobody's saying anything about Brock Purdy. They're just saying, oh, they won. They're saying he's moving on. He played good. I'm like, nobody pretty much played good on San Francisco's offense last week. Why is it out of the realm of thought that they can have the same offensive performance this week against an even better defensive team.
I agree. So what it's going to come down to, like I said, adversity. Which one of these quarterbacks are going, because experience is out the window for both of these. Neither one of these quarterbacks are experienced, quote unquote.
That's not true. That's not true. Jalen Hurts played in a playoff game last year, albeit he got stomped out, but that is experience. So they both have the same experience.
So you said, okay, so you're saying Jalen Hurts is more experienced than Brock Purdy right now, dealing with this.
No, I would say in playoff experience, I would say they both have the same playoff experience.
And
they played
that's what I'm getting. That's what I'm saying. So when you look at that, I think, can we make the assessment that both of these teams' offenses are playing probably their best defensive team to date?
That's fair, but I also think that Dallas was a little bit better than what people think as well. You know what I'm saying? I think they was pretty formidable, and the Eagles had to play them twice.
Well, wait a minute, because, okay, so right now at this very moment, earlier I asked a question about Dallas and Philadelphia, and you said who was better? Who was the better defense?
Philly.
Okay, so if San Francisco is now playing Philly is now playing San Francisco, right? I'm going to go out on a limb and say that the common opponent is Dallas, right?
Mm-hmm.
Neither team looked great against Dallas, right? Both defenses are better than Dallas. So it's safe to assume that both offenses are now, at this very moment, playing their best defensive team to date. So both inexperienced quarterbacks, we were going to have to see how they respond to adversity, a fumble or an interception or two, or some 3 and outs, or just simply disruption in their offense. Let's see how that happens. Go ahead, proceed.
Yeah, and that's what I'm with those. When I'm looking at a football game, I'm looking at, well, Dallas last week. I actually think Dallas probably should. I actually picked Dallas to win last week. I was like, damn, man, this is exactly how I thought they should be playing to win, except for that goddamn Dak Prescott. I was like, I thought they was going to win the game. I thought they were actually the better team. You feel what I'm saying? So I was like, Brock Purdy's on this team. And Brock Purdy is a major reason why they only had 19 points. They actually had one more possession, but they didn't have more yards. You understand? I'm like, well, hold on, man. You know, so that's some of that, like a lot of people like to heap onto people, that's got something to do with the quarterback. And then you say, well, when the Eagles went up against Dallas, the Eagles put up about 34 points on Dallas, and they beat them another time. So now I'm not saying that, you know, Dallas is necessarily better than the Francisco 49ers.
It's not the Niners.
Right, but I was saying their defense was just as formidable. And I'm like, okay, well, when Brock Purdy played, because I want to say they may have been 1, 2, 3 in defense. Niners, Eagles, Cowboys. So really, to me, I'm like, put them in the bag, put them out. I'm cool with any 3 of them. They had distinguished themselves from everybody else's defense pretty much. Those were the 3 defenses you didn't really want to fuck with. With that being said, I'm like, well, Brock Purdy played one of them. He got 19 points. Do I expect him to do better against an even better defense? No, I don't. So with that being said, I'm like, it will be a knockdown, drag out. I do think it's what they call the chin strap, big boy shoulder pads, physical game. But also with that being said, Jalen Hurts will be much more significantly used and will have many more chances to affect the game successfully for the Eagles than Brock Purdy will. Because
let me throw one thing out there. Let me throw something at you. This is a valid point that somebody raised. Is the quote unquote, now we talked about Brock Purdy and Jalen Hurts' relative experience. What about the 49ers team as a whole, their experience here? Does that play a factor?
Yes.
Because both teams,
Yes.
I mean, we can say aside from the quarterbacks, both teams, quote unquote, have some experience.
Well, I mean, the Eagles still have a lot of players on their team from the Super Bowl run, from the Super Bowl win. You know what I'm saying? You still, I mean, and not just players, significant players to the team. You feel what I'm saying? So that experience right there, and they've been in the playoffs every year except the debacle year. You feel what I'm saying? So that is who's more experienced than that. They've been just as experienced as anybody else out there. You know, the 49ers have been to a couple they've been to a Super Bowl and a couple conference championships. So they're and a lot of their core is the same people. So both teams are very, very experienced. I'm not sure what kind of difference that makes. You know what I'm saying? Both the teams are very experienced. Like I said, the quarterbacks are probably the ones just not that experienced. I mean, I will say this. Christian McCaffrey ain't played no damn whole bunch of playoff games, so how experienced is he in high leverage games? That can be said. Now, somebody could say that about Miles Sanders as well, but he's not as big of a piece or a cog in the Eagles
AJ Brown. That could be said about AJ Brown, though.
Yes, he could.
Well,
AJ Brown has played.
I'm sorry. That would be a wrong assessment because he has played in some big games.
And I was going to say he had every.
So I can't say
Devontae Smith may be the guy say well he hasn't had experience, but wherever he's played in the highest games that he can play in. So I mean, so right now experience to me is really a now cipher. Both the quarterbacks are probably going to be the ones that decide the success or the demise of their teams today. And I'm really actually leaning more towards Jalen Hurts because I think he can do significantly more damage with his feet than Brock Purdy can.
The Niners have to show rush discipline today. The edges cannot fire up the field and leave the edges unsecure. They have to show, the entire front four has to show rush lane discipline. They cannot simply fire up the field and allow Jalen Hurts to escape out the side. If you allow that, those 10 to 15 to 20-yard runs are back-breaking. They're going to kill the Niners if that happens.
That's also the Eagles. They have to have great eye discipline on defense with all the motions, with all the shifts, with all the counter and traps and all the things that they do on offense on San Francisco. Like we have said, this is the most quarterback independent offense that you have in the league. You know, everybody's moving here. You got guys on there. I actually seen a play from them. I said, "Oh, this is how you know that people are out here doing new and higher level stuff." There's a play. Actually, it's a play that everybody remembers. George Kittle caught the pass over the middle and he tipped it a couple times, and he caught the ball. That was a great play, and it was actually illegal. You didn't know that, did you?
I was unaware.
A lot of people didn't know it was illegal. I didn't know it until after it was explained to me. George Kittle actually lined up was an ineligible receiver. He was lined up and he was covered up by Kyle Juszczyk right next to him. It was actually, I want to say a run play. It was like an RPO play, so he wasn't even supposed to go down the field. He was blocking. But when the play breaks down and Brock Purdy, he takes off. But he actually shouldn't even have took off down the field, and it actually should have been a legal man, ineligible receiver downfield.
So who you got?
So who I got? I actually had the Eagles winning.
What's the score?
I actually had the Eagles winning 27-21.
There you have it. 27-21. You got the Eagles. I got the Niners. Now that we're done being objective, please, Lord Jesus Christ, baby, please do not let the Eagles win this fucking game. Please, Lord Jesus Christ, do not let the Eagles. This is a bad place for me, to be honest with you, because I can't win either way because of that old school Niners. I don't like the Niners from the old school, and unfortunately, the era we grew up in, we have a lot of Niners fans that we know, so it's almost equally as bad. This area is just terrible. Period. Between the Giants, the fucking Eagles, the Niners, any one of those teams win.
Dallas.
It's Dallas. It's bad. It's just like it's almost like that when Green Bay was winning, it was like I could deal with that. That's pretty cool. I could work with that. You don't have to hear it from anybody. You know what I mean? You don't have to hear anybody. But Lord, if you're listening, I don't ask for much. If I had my choice of whether Dan Snyder sells a team or the Eagles lose today, I would pick the Eagles loss. Because I do not fucking want to hear all of this Bird Gang shit. These motherfuckers think they're the Patriots. These motherfuckers really think they've won like 7 Super Bowls in the last like 7 years. The way they talk is an arrogant fucking bunch. They have gone way more arrogant than the fucking Cowboys. Please do not let them win this game. Please let the stadium implode because I don't want San Francisco to win this game either because I don't want to hear Frick's mouth. I don't want to hear fucking Cliff. I don't want to hear none of them fucking Wallaces. I want to hear none of them. All of them. All of these fucking Niner fans, I hate them too. I don't want to hear none of them motherfuckers. We got the Cowboys on the couch. We got the Giants on the couch. Please do me a solid. Get one of these motherfuckers out of here today. Preferably the Eagles, because I don't want to go another week hearing them motherfuckers. I think that the Super Bowl will take care of itself because I don't think either one of these teams are going to win the Super Bowl because they're not going to beat whoever comes out of that AFC Championship game. But for the love of Jesus, please, that's all I ask. Do not let the fucking Eagles go to the Super Bowl because I don't want to hear it. If them motherfuckers was a little more humble, I could deal with it, but they are not a humble bunch. They're an arrogant, brash, asshole-ish bunch. Please do not let them win this game today.
You know what's funny, man?
No.
You know what's funny? You know what's funny about that, man? I do not understand why. And it just people take that from 49ers fans. You have to take it from Cowboys fans. I never really understood
from anybody. Let's let that be clear. I just don't want to have to turn my phone off, and I want to be able to go on Facebook and my social media, and I want to be able to go freely without a motherfucker. Bird Gang, Niner. I don't want to hear that shit. Them niggas is obnoxious. All of them. Giants fans, fucking Cowboy fans, Eagle fans, Niner fans. Shit is obnoxious. I'd probably be obnoxious too if my team was any fucking thing, but they're not. But I don't want to hear. I definitely don't want to hear this Eagle shit. I don't. The news, all of that shit. I don't want to hear that shit. Them motherfuckers are not humble at all. They know they're not humble. They don't give a fuck. They are arrogant. They're brash. They're braggadocious. Please do not let these motherfuckers win.
Well, hold on, man. Humble isn't necessary. No, I can't say Philadelphia fans. They are not humble. They are fanatics. They are fanatics. They are the highest of what is called a fan. They are fanatics. They are very passionate. And what they really are, they mimic or parrot what they've seen other teams and nations and fandoms do. Like, you've seen the Cowboys talk their talk for I don't know however many years with their, they had the hardware to be able to talk like that. So now the Eagles are like, okay, this is what you're supposed to be doing. This is how you're supposed to be sounding when your fucking team wins. I totally understand. Like,
is it just because it's? I gotta throw Steelers fans in there too. Them motherfuckers is assholes.
I was going to say Steelers fans, but I don't know why Steelers fans.
Yeah, they're assholes too. I'm tired of the fucking terrible towel too, all that shit. I guess, but a shout out to them, man. Shout out to all those franchises, man, for that level of success, because that's really what it boils down to, man. A certain level of success and excellence. And as much as they hate to believe it, the Cowboys have been successful. They just haven't won a Super Bowl. And I mean, I know that's their running joke. But I mean, the level of success, man, that I'm hoping that one day we can get back to. It's got to be great as a fan to be able to talk this kind of shit this late in the season. So I respect it. Don't get me wrong. But, like I said, now that I don't have to be objective, the show is over, goddammit. I don't want to hear that shit.
well, since it being like that, I actually like it. Because, I'm not going to lie, man. When the Eagles lose, all crazy, man, it'll be like, it's a whole lot more tense. It's a whole lot more, it's just a tense atmospheric cloud around the Delaware Valley, as they call it, man. It's a lot more tense. I'm pretty sure road rage.
It's all good. It's all good.
I'm pretty sure road rage incidents go up. Maybe a little bit of domestic violence goes up. Probably TVs being broken. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, yo, dog, you know what I'm saying? It's like you gang banging over bacon, man. Chill out, man. Your team lost, man. Go home. It's over, man. You didn't lose. It was they lost. You know what I'm saying? Like, chill, man. You shouldn't act like that.
At the end of the day, absolutely. That's what it's all about. I just love the fandom of football, man. And I think mainly part of me is sad because, you know, in 3 weeks, man, you know, there'll be no more football, man. So I think that's the downside for me. I just love Sundays, man. You know how we are, man. I just love Sundays, the fandom of football, man, the whole event of football. We get treated to the biggest party, the biggest sports party known to man in a couple of weeks. And regardless who's in it, I'm going to have a ball. I'm going to show up. I'll be there. I'll have my opinion and, you know, just like everybody else will. So that's what's coming, but it's sad on the horizon, man. We got another football season about to end. And, you know, hopefully we can get this type of excitement from the NBA, which it looks like it's going to be shaping up to be one of those sort of playoffs because of the parity in the league. I think we're going to have a very exciting playoff. And, you know, we'll be right there to bring that to you as normal. We're going to give a different level of the Fire and Ice experience for the basketball playoffs. We will be with you the majority of the day, exclusive coverage. We will be doing our normal, but when it comes to playoff time, we're gonna turn it up a notch. We're gonna turn it up for y'all. But yeah, we got a big day today, man. It's a beautiful day. This is what Sundays is all about. This is what Sundays is all about. For some people, it's church. For football fans, it's football.
Yes, it is. And for football fans, that is church.
Absolutely. Say amen. Let the congregation say amen.
Amen. First down.
We appreciate, man. Y'all rocking with us, man. Y'all could be anywhere in the world, but you rocking with the experience, man. You rocking with the best. We appreciate it. We love y'all, man. My man, Fresh Fire. This is the Bull Coach. Enjoy your football Sunday. Love and peace. Pigskin, nachos, and all that. We out.
Peace.
We live at the Fire and Ice podcast, man, and there's certain moments that you have when you do these things, and I think it's more the moment.
These guys came from Woodland, Delaware.
Where was you from?
Now, who's fighting right now? Who's fighting right now? Who's fighting right now? Who's
Listen, man, it's your boy Matt, man. Fire and Ice Podcast.
Let me see him.